John does not like Comey can't communicate, by the way.
Fuck John.
Exactly. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Anime Club After Dark, the podcast that delves into all things anime, manga, and otaku culture related. I'm your host, Alex, but you can call me Senpai, and joining me tonight, I have our poser extraordinaire, Natai.
Let the riots commence. It's that time of the year again, everybody.
Yes, let the rioting commence, because Natai and I have gotten together to do our 2021 Finney Awards. Woo! So much better than the Crunchyroll Awards, but it's not really, that's a low bar to go over.
Next year we'll get Austin Creed, I swear.
Yeah, right? I wish. I still don't know if there's, at least at the time we're recording this, I don't know if there's actually going to be an awards ceremony for the Crunchyroll Awards. I genuinely think they're just going to announce them like online and that's going to be it.
They'll probably do like like last year, where it'll be like just a digital event and that's it.
Well, if they are, they're releasing it at 9 a.m. on a Wednesday.
Why? Why would they do this?
Because they hate themselves. I don't know. But yes, so that's what we're going to be doing tonight. We are going to be talking about our best of the best from 2021.
Whoop, whoop.
So before we actually get started, we have a little bit of house cleaning we need to do to maybe clarify some stuff.
Alex,
some of you
where is
may be
Arcane?
wondering. Yeah, some of you may be wondering, where is Arcane in any of this? Well, we had a long discussion about this in our Discord server and amongst ourselves here on the podcast about if we should or should not include Arcane. And there were many reasons given for including it. There were many reasons given for not including it. Ultimately, we have decided not to include Arcane in for consideration for any of our awards tonight, and probably the best reasoning I can think of this, and it is probably a reasoning we will be using going forward for including things in our award show, is that Arcane has zero connection to Japan whatsoever, either through its production company or through its trademark and copyright or IP. Like, it is thoroughly an American product. Yes, the animation itself was done primarily in France by a French studio, but it has absolutely no connection to Japan because it is an animated adaptation of an American video game.
Also, if it was included on the list, then it would have swept
won
the entire
everything.
Yeah, it would have been a clean sweep. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean, there may be only 2 or 3 awards it didn't get nomination in, and it probably would have won everything it got nominated for.
Yeah, Arcane was apparently pretty good. Who knew?
Yeah, people tell me Arcane was pretty good. In fact, you can hear us talk about how good Arcane was by going and watching our Arcane spoiler cast.
Talk, more like gush.
Oh, man. Beautiful, beautiful Silco. I mean, what? Truly the best boy of 2021.
You would have loved to pierce his eye. Oh,
pierce more than just his eye.
Oh my god, I hate this. I made a mistake.
You started this. But I was trying to think is there any other housekeeping stuff we need to get to? I guess something that is different between our awards and something like Crunchyroll's anime awards is one thing that we require for things to be included in our awards is that they have to have ended in the previous year. So you won't see any nominations, for example, for Ranking of Kings, which is an anime that started in 2021, but is still airing in 2022. So you won't see any nominations for that because it has not ended yet. You will, however, see nominations for things like Attack on Titan: The Final Season. That is because it seems like it was designed from the beginning to be split core, perhaps, maybe, I'm not quite sure. But
the first core finished airing in 2021.
It did, and it wasn't a continuing core. Like, it didn't start like in the fall of 2021 and keep going into the winter of 2022. Like, it thoroughly had an end date within 2021, and there was a long stretch of time where nothing else came out. So you will see nominations for things like that, even though technically I guess you could say that season isn't done yet. There are also nominees for in the OP and ED category for anime that have continued from 2021 into 2022. And we have given an exception for OP and ED for things that are continuing to air into 2022. But our stipulation for that is the OP and or ED in question has to have premiered in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
And that is our only exceptions to our ending in the previous year rule that we have for our awards. The only other, I guess, real exception you could say is for soundtracks, because we do have one nominee for Best Soundtrack that technically hasn't finished airing yet. There are 2 episodes that have not aired yet, and they will air sometime in the spring. But we felt that since a vast majority of this anime had aired and we had seen a vast majority of its soundtrack, we thought it bared including in our nominees. And I think going forward we will use soundtrack, particularly the music awards in general. Those will be at our discretion.
Yeah. All right.
But anyway, let's get started. Our very first award to give out, our very first Finney award, is for Best Opening, or OP. So Natai,
yes,
and I want to say, for all of these awards that we're giving out, whether they win or not, all of the things that got nominated definitely deserve to get nominated, because they are all really, really good. So just because they didn't win doesn't mean they're not good.
Specifically, the Best Opening category was tough to pick the winner from, because all of them are like certified bangers. They're all 10 out of 10s, and I think both of our opinions.
And some of them for very different reasons. Like, should I go ahead and give the nominees, and I can run down them again when we give out the award. So our nominees for this category are Vivid Vice by Huya Extended for Jujutsu Kaisen, My War by Shinsei. Oh my god, I'm gonna fuck this up. Kamate-chan.
Nice.
From Attack on Titan: The Final Season. Stone Ocean by Ichigo. And Akeboshi Rockets for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 6, Stone Ocean. Odd Taxi by Skirt and Poonpee for Odd Taxi. And Cinderella by Cindergirl from Komi Can't Communicate. So those are our nominees for this award. All of these are bangers, just for very different reasons.
I think all of them are like top tier openings. I mean, for me personally, all of them check the boxes for having both incredible song and amazing visuals. So yeah, this was one of the toughest categories to pick the winner from.
It was certainly the one that you and I spent, I think, maybe not the longest time, but close to the longest time trying to pick between. Yeah. And we mentioned, for Stone Ocean's OP, Kamikaze Doka is back animating that, and it looks fantastic.
Incredible, absolutely incredible. It's so much fun to have them back with their just absolutely incredible CGI for the opening animation. It's wow, it's incredible. I'm so happy, and I'm looking forward to their next OPs that will come for Stone Ocean.
Yes. I mean, and you have something like My War from Attack on Titan, where, as much as I may criticize Attack on Titan, one thing I've never really criticized it for is its music, particularly its OPs. And I think that this season's definitely hit on a lot of the aesthetics of what the final season is about. And the song is kind of a banger too. Let's be
very
fair.
Eerie, very abstract, but I mean, instantaneously iconic. I think it's wow.
Yeah. And then you have Odd Taxi, which is just jazz, hip hop, funk.
Yeah, and it's so well constructed around the song as well. It's I could gush about it all day.
I love and you pointed this out to me, and I'd realized it before, but I never really gave it much credence. Like during Odd Taxi's OP, when the rap part comes in, is when Yano's character first shows up in the OP, and I'm like, that's a nice touch.
That OP is littered with small details and foreshadowings, and just like even some red herrings that are like there to distract you, and it's a treat. It's a treat to dig into, especially once you finish the show.
And then you have an OP like Cinderella, which, if I didn't know any better, I would say this was done by Kyoto Animation.
Dude, the Sakuga on display is amazing. I love the lip syncing, how some of the characters sing along to the song, and it's stunning. That OP is absolutely stunning.
All right, so I'm gonna go over the nominees again before we give out the award. So our nominees for best opening, our OP, are Vivid Ice from Jujutsu Kaisen, My War from Attack on Titan: The Final Season, Stone Ocean from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 6, Stone Ocean, Odd Taxi from Odd Taxi, and Cinderella from Comey Can't Communicate. And the Fenny Award for 2021's Best OP goes to... Yes, indeed. It goes to Odd Taxi from Odd Taxi by Skirt and Poonby.
Yes.
You and I went back and forth between two on this by the end. It was between My War and Odd Taxi.
Yes.
And
both of them
it was
are
a difficult choice, but
yeah.
I think what really sold it for us was more of the Odd Taxi has a lot of the it's an all-in-one package, really, because you have these great, I won't say great visuals because I can't say the art style is it's an acquired taste.
But so is Attack on Titan. That art style is very abstract. As for Odd Taxi, it's very cartoonish, which is like sort of charming.
But you have that great jazz, funk, hip-hop inspired song mixed with these visuals that, like you say, it's full of red herrings and references and things that you think might be spoilers, but they turn out not to be spoilers, and just like nice little in-jokes and stuff like that. And I think that's really why we gave it to Odd Taxi, for how creative it was by doing that.
It's remarkable. It's so refreshing. It's so different. And again, not to take away from My War, which is also absolutely incredible. But yeah, for now, this is the best opening of the year for us. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So we also, as we go through these awards, we will also tell you what our fan vote is. So the people on our Discord server, which you can definitely join by looking down below in the description, and you will find a link to our Discord server. We put polls up in a special channel there, and people gave us their votes for what they thought was deserved to win all of the awards that we have here tonight. And as we go through, we will also be giving out the fan votes. So the fan vote for best OP of 2021 was actually Cinderella from Comey Can't Communicate. Again, banger OP. Like it's
absolutely
amazing.
Incredible
and the animation
visuals.
is
yeah. And the song, like I listen to that song on repeat almost on a daily basis. It's so fucking good. It's an incredible opening.
It is. I'm genuinely curious as to how they're going to try and top it for season 2 of Comey, but I don't think that they will.
We'll see.
All right. So what's our next award, Netai?
So our next award is Best ED, the best ending of the year. Now the nominees are Infinity by Yuri from Skate Infinity. Distant Dreamer by Duffy from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 6, Stone Ocean. Believe in You by Nonak from ReZero's second season Part 2. Kazuto Ikumichi by Yukio Uhara, nailed it the first time, from Mushoku Tensei Jobless Reincarnation. And Give It Back by Koshuni from Jujutsu Kaisen.
I think that's how you say it. I don't know if it's Koshuni or Koshunie.
I don't know. These are the nominees for Best ED. So quick shout out to Distant Dreamer, mainly because like that, I mean, as someone who hasn't read the manga, that OP is very, very feels restrained. It doesn't give away a whole lot. It's sort of like a good, actually like a good ED. It sort of lets you decompress whatever happened in the episode. But I just want to give David Production the props for pulling such a out of left field choice with Distant Dreamer by Duffy. It's such a good song.
I mean, if you follow our podcast for any length of time, you know for the last almost year, I've been putting out predictions for what I thought the ED was going to be for JoJo's Part 6. I'm convinced that eventually we will get Coldplay's Clocks. But props to David Productions for bringing Duffy back, a almost completely forgotten singer from the early 2000s.
They always seem to like do a really good job at picking songs that you'd be like, you'd be surprised by, but then you're like, oh, that's kind of perfect actually.
Kind of like Part 4's ED.
Yeah, I Want You, which was also incredible ED. But yeah, continue the legacy of just good EDs for JoJo.
And this might not be the last ED we get for JoJo's Part 6. I mean, we could get a second ED like we got for
Part 5.
Part 5.
Mm-hmm. We'll see. Is there anything you want to give a quick shout out to?
I mean, it's hard to go through this and not give a huge shout out to Mushoku Tensei's
yes.
ED. Just it's so symbolic, all the visuals. I mean, I won't say that the music in it is necessarily the best, but the visuals are top tier, right?
The usage of windows,
so much symbolism
is
and so much understated symbolism as well. Especially when you actually watch the shows. By the time you get to the end of it, like you see all the symbolism in it, and you're like, wow. Holy shit. There's a lot going on here, but it doesn't seem like there is.
The usage of windows as symbols, I love that. I love the whole section of just them hanging around, like doing goofy shit. I love that. It's a very, very, I don't know. It's one of these EDs that just speaks to me right here.
Yeah, I mean, and then you have Give It Back from Jujutsu Kaisen. The whole thing is framed as if it's being shot on a cell phone, and I absolutely love that aesthetic. It like
great animation.
The main characters, just in their everyday lives, hanging out with each other, and it's like they're not getting beat up.
And Believe in You by Nonaku was from ReZero is that classic ED that's like sort of tries to get you in the feels, very emotional, but it looks stunning.
For the 2 or 3 times you see it?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. But it's so stunning. I love how it looks. It's very simple, but there's something about its simplicity that I really liked.
And I do got to give another shout out to Infinity from Skate the Infinity. Like I think Skate the Infinity I think is gonna be an overlooked anime from 2021. But like animation wise, just beautiful ED.
Yeah.
And the song is really, really nice.
So the winner of the best ED of 2021 is okay. Never mind. Oh, okay. You won't do the sounds? Fine.
I'm sorry.
God damn it! It's Give It Back.
I made a nice little sound wave on my recording.
Nonsense. It's Give It Back from Jujutsu Kaisen. Really great ED. Honestly, it was kind of jarring to see that after the first ED, which was a masterpiece in the making. I mean, Lost in Paradise set in just incredible, just top tier standard. And Give It Back for me was a bit jarring in the beginning, but as time went on and I listened to it more and more, watched the ED more and more, I grew to really appreciate it for doing something very different from the previous one. So yeah, great ED. Visuals, top tier.
Yeah, and the animation of the water in the ED, holy shit.
Man, you're so wet from that water, it's like you're swimming in it.
I have a great appreciation for when water is animated well, because I know how difficult it is to animate. Same with fire. Like, it's one of the reasons I actually did like Fire Force. I mean, I haven't really caught up to it, but I loved Fire Force, the way they animated fire in that, because like it looks so good.
Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely agreed.
So our fan vote when this was actually tied between Believe in You from ReZero Second Season Part 2 and Kaze to Iku Michi from Mushoku Tensei.
Again, awesome EDs. Really, really awesome EDs. The competition was stiff.
All right, so moving on to our last music award that we have for this year, or for 2021. I mean, obviously, music is a huge deal, right? When you're talking about anime, it's...
I don't know what you're talking about.
Just ask John.
I like my anime without sound at all.
It's silent anime. But no, the OST and the score is always a huge, huge part of enjoyment of an anime. At least to me it is. And I know the same can be said for our own John. He'll watch an entire anime based on its soundtrack alone.
I mean, I can feel that. Every now and then you listen back to a soundtrack from a show you love and you'll be like, damn.
So our nominees this year for Best Soundtrack are Attack on Titan, the final season, Jujutsu Kaisen, Beastars Season 2, Odd Taxi, and 86. Now, I want to say first and foremost, you might be able to tell that two of these nominees are scored by the same person. Hiroyuki Sawano scored both Attack on Titan, the final season, and 86.
Sawano is just too powerful, dude.
Sawano is like the most powerful. He is literally the anime protagonist that won't die.
Yeah.
But Sawano's like is a fucking genius when it comes to he is the best of the best when it comes to anime composing. I mean, there's a reason that people seek him out, and he demands such a high price for his services.
He makes good stuff.
He makes phenomenal stuff.
I mean, as much as people meme on the Sawano drop, it's still effective. It still gets you hyped as fuck.
There's a reason it works. It's because it fucking works.
Yeah, but I do think that Jujutsu Kaisen gives him a run for his money because damn, like Jujutsu Kaisen. I love how energetic it is. It gets you hyped like a good shonen OST. And there are some insert songs in that soundtrack which are absolutely incredible. Like Remember is such a great song to use, and they saved it for like the final episode of the season, and it's mind blowing. I mean, so many good tracks in that soundtrack.
The great thing about Jujutsu Kaisen's OST is like even in the quieter moments, like when there's very little action going on, the OST in the back it still has energy.
Yeah,
you still feel like this constant energy that runs through the entire show, even in its quieter, less action filled moments. And I think that's driven a lot by the OST. Now, granted, it's driven some by the writing too, but I mean, I think a lot of that is down to its OST and just how the music in it really makes you feel, even in those quieter moments.
Yeah. I agree.
And then you have Beastars and Odd Taxi, both soundtracks that are infused with jazz, hip hop, funk.
And Beastars specifically builds a lot on what came before in the first season, which is really, really, really cool. With Odd Taxi, though, it's just, as you said, a lot of hip hop and funk and just like really, really, I don't know what's the word I'm looking for, but there's something about that soundtrack as well that's like, it's so right for the tone that we're going for, which is at the same time sort of like cartoony and strange and bizarre, but on the other hand, it's very noir-esque and very like, grim even sometimes, which is very fitting for the show.
I don't know what it is, because these are obviously not the only two examples of it, but there's been this resurgence in anime recently of including jazz-inspired songs in scores and soundtracks, and I'm here for it, man. I really am.
Great Pretender was a pretty good jazzy soundtrack,
Yeah, I know, and that again, a lot of jazz, a lot of hip hop in that. It just I don't know what is fueling this, but I'm fucking here for it. Like, as someone myself who listens to jazz music like away from all of this, I fucking love jazz as a genre of music. Like, I'm all for composers including more jazz inspired pieces of music in their scores. 100%. I'd love to hear Hiroyuki Sawano do a jazz piece. It would probably be fucking amazing.
Have you seen that one? Quick tangent. Have you seen that one video of Yuko Kanno, the composer for JoJo's, just jamming to all of his tracks?
Yes, I have, and it's awesome.
It's so good, so good. Anyway,
but yeah, more of this, please. Anime composers out there, please. Jazz is a great fucking genre, and it deserves a comeback. These young whippersnappers deserve to know why jazz is so great.
Young whippersnappers, look at you.
These hooligans, these whippersnappers, these rapscallions.
So, you want to announce the winner of this Fenny Award?
Yes, so the Fenny Award for Best Soundtrack of 2021 is going to Odd Taxi.
Yeah, my boy. Shoutouts to Yano and his rap sessions.
Yes. Also, I might not get another chance to say this, because I want to give a huge shout out to whoever it was behind the scenes that translated Odd Taxi into English, because when Yano is doing his raps, not only is it rhyming in the original Japanese, which it was going to anyway, the person who translated it went to great lengths to make sure that not only was what he is actually saying getting through, but it also rhymed in English.
So yeah, go watch Odd Taxi, you fools.
the amount of work that must have taken as a translator, I just my hat is off to you, whoever it was that did that behind the scenes. And before we move on, I do want to mention that our fan vote for this was probably no surprise, Attack on Titan, the final season, which again, very deserving.
Yeah,
soundtrack.
a lot of awesome tracks in that season. Again, it builds on the past seasons as well. It's a real treat if you like keep track of like the songs you're listening to in the background. You're like, oh shit, they're building on that motif again. It's a very, very satisfying. But yeah, great soundtrack.
It is. All right, next. What do we got next, Natai?
So up next we got the award for best background art, and so the nominees are Mushoku Tensei, Jobless Reincarnation, Star Wars Visions, specifically Episode 1, The Duel, Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid Season 2, Kami Can Communicate, and To Your Eternity. Now, all of these are fucking great. Like, they're really, really good.
I mean, we have Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid on here. It's KyoAni. KyoAni. Whatever KyoAni puts out is gonna get on the best background art list here. You know they're going to.
Also, Kami Can Communicate every now and then would just surprise the shit out of me and made me think that I'm watching a Makoto Shinkai movie. It's like, wow.
That's actually a good compliment though.
Yeah,
to the artists.
Yeah. It's sometimes that show is absolutely stunning. Not as consistent as I would want it to be, but goddamn, it could be. It looks absolutely stunning every now and then.
Yeah, and then I mean, it's the only time it was nominated for anything in our award show. I mean, that may be a spoiler for some of you, but like Star Wars Visions, I don't think gets enough credit for what it was able to do. We did an entire spoiler cast on it, which I highly recommend you go check out. Not just the episode 1, The Duel. We did it for every single episode in Star Wars Visions. And I think that it's overlooked now, but like The Duel, because it was done by Kamikaze Doga, the same studio that is doing the OP, that animated the OP to JoJo's Part 6.
Awesome work by them.
Yes. And it looks so unique, like the art style, the animation, it almost looks like, I don't know if it was rotoscope, but it certainly looks like it was. And the background art is just mwah. So many just small details in the background art that if you have to pay attention, maybe watch it 2 or 3 times to get all the little details that painstakingly put in the background.
The Kurosawa style, like inspired art style, is so good. It's so good.
Yes.
Like shit. Yeah.
And then you have To Your Eternity, a story that takes place mostly in a fucking frozen tundra, and you think to yourself, like, how do we make this look good? And somehow they fucking do. I can't explain it. It just, they make tundra look good.
They make tundra good. I like it.
They make tundra good.
And with Mushoku Tensei, like, you have these background arts that just draw you into this world. It feels so lived in. It feels so alive, for lack of a better word. It's like, it feels like that world existed way before the show, and it's gonna exist after we leave it for good. You know, it's magical. It's absolutely magical.
Not only that, like there's moments in Mushoku Tensei where they're obviously doing establishing shots, like wide panning establishing shots, showing where the characters are, and just the amount of very small details that you can see if you like pause and look at it. Just, I can't imagine.
Yeah, I mean, heck, every episode doesn't really have an OP. It has the same song every time, but it takes that time to sort of show you these vignettes of the places that our characters travel through and visit and see, and it's so, and again, I'm gonna use that word again, it's just magical. It's absolutely magical.
And I know that it might be a little late, but John and I are going to be doing, and I don't know if Natai, you might be joining us as well.
I will.
We will be doing a spoiler cast for the second half of Mushoku Tensei's first season. That may be the next episode we do after our awards show. I cannot promise that, though.
Yee. Anyway, and the Fenny Award for Best Background Art goes to... I hate you so much. Mushoku Tensei, Jobless Reincarnation.
Yeah. Woo-hoo.
Absolutely incredible.
I think what it came down to was consistency for us.
Yes.
Because it's consistently good. And you're going to find that with a lot of our awards going forward, especially the technical awards going forward that we have. Like, consistency is key.
because it's consistently, it's not even consistently good, it's consistently incredible. Like, all the different vistas just make you go like, oh, like the characters are in awe of the vistas they see, and so are you, because it's just so beautiful.
Yeah. Worth pointing out that our fan vote for this award was Star Wars Visions Episode 1, The Duel. Again, great choice. All of these would have been great choices. Yeah, we are giving it to Mushoku Tensei. Shall I move on to the next award?
Let's.
All right, our next award is for Best Animation. This is obviously a very important award for, anime, because what is an anime if not an animated work of art? So if you have terrible animation, it's going to stand out.
So X-Arm is this year's best animation, right?
What is?
X-Arm. You don't know X-Arm?
Oh, God.
Okay.
God, X-Arm. I just had PT fucking SD when you said that.
PTFSD.
I can't go. I need a break. Hold on. Let me sip my coffee. Okay. I can go on now. No, never mention X-Arm ever again. That
Drunkcast win.
Yeah, really. I would need to be drunk to watch that again.
Anyway.
But no, animation is obviously very, very important to anime. Without good animation, you're going to turn a lot of people off very, very quickly. So our nominees for this category are Mushoku Tensei, Jobless Reincarnation, Jujutsu Kaisen, Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba, Mugen Train Arc, specifically the one for television. Vivi, is it Fluorite? Is that how you say it?
Fluorite Eyes Song, yeah.
Fluorite Eyes Song. I read that and it's like Flurry. Vivi Fluorite's Eyes Song, and Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid Season 2. Again, all of these phenomenal animation throughout.
So yeah,
I think we have to talk about Jujutsu Kaisen's fight animation though, because I think that's what's going to be on a lot of people's mind.
The choreography in that show is absolutely bonkers. It's so good.
Oh, 100%. The fight choreography is great, and it's so smooth. Like the animations are just pitch perfect. I don't know how many slaves Mappa had to get to do this, but
dude, like every now and then I'll think back to that fight from the end of the season with Todo and Yuji against Hanami, and I'll be like, damn, that's like one of the best fights I've seen in a long time. It's just so good. So good.
Yeah, it is. There's something about Jujutsu Kaisen's fight animations that are just absolutely fantastic. Every single one is a feast for the eyes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't think it can be topped in shonen. I mean, maybe it can, and maybe I'm 100% wrong about that. But in my opinion, like, this is the new pinnacle of what fight animation should be in a shonen.
I mean, Ufotable puts a pretty good competition, to be honest.
Yeah, that's true. With Demon Slayer, there's some pretty great competition with Demon Slayer, to be fair. And I don't think anyone was actually really expecting this. Demon Slayer, the Mugen Train arc specifically, to come back on television, as part of... I don't think people really consider it part of the second season, and the way they're releasing this is really, really weird. So we had the movie, right?
Yeah.
Which was fantastic. In fact, it was the highest grossing movie worldwide in 2020. Granted, it had a little help doing that, but that is neither here nor there. But then when they announced that the second season was starting, they said that it was going to start with the Mugen Train arc pretty much re-edited for television. And they even added an entire episode that wasn't even included in the movie.
Yeah. Now, again, it's, Ufotable. The fight scenes are incredible. I mean, the final fight is... I mean, watching that in theaters will be just a moment I don't think I'll forget in the near future. It's just that good.
Well, especially since you've never experienced it before.
Yeah, I mean, for sure.
That's something we talked about on the podcast, how where you live, they don't put anime in movie theaters.
I mean, now we have Sword Art Online Progressive in theaters. Ooh. I'm still gonna go watch it. I decided I'm gonna support this shit. Listen. Give me Jujutsu Kaisen 0 here in Israel, please. I need it. I need this. But yeah, Mugen Train was fantastic in terms of the animation, the fights as well. Specifically, the fights were just mwah.
I mean, and you have Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, again, Kyoto Animation. They're the obvious choice to add here because anything they make is going to look fantastic.
And special shout out to Vivi. Studio Wit delivered a really good looking show with surprisingly really well choreographed fight animation.
I feel like we need to talk about this at some time on the podcast. Like Studio Wit, ever since they have let go of Attack on Titan, I feel like they're really like stretching themselves like to a point where they're experimenting with new styles and new things to try out. It's
I mean,
more
they're
often than not working out really well in their favor.
I mean, I think like some of the especially the ODM gear animation back in Attack on Titan when Wit did it looked absolutely fantastic. I mean, I think they were flexing on everyone for a long time.
I'm just saying that since they have not doing Attack on Titan anymore, I feel like as a studio they've really come into their own because they're starting to take on these projects that I don't think they would have before.
Who knows?
But anyway, that's something for another. That's a topic for another episode of the podcast. But yeah, Vivi kind of came out of nowhere and like really, it looks great. Like it looks fantastic.
Yeah. Just like the animation is lovely. Again, surprisingly, the fight choreography is really strong. And every now and then they'll have these like still shots of the characters, and obviously you're like, oh, it just freeze frames, but they're so detailed and they're so elegant and so beautiful that it kind of like takes your breath away. It's really something.
Mm-hmm. All right, so the Finney Award for Best Animation in 2021 goes to... I don't know what that's supposed to be at this point, but okay. It goes to Mushoku Tensei, Jobless Reincarnation.
The only one we haven't talked about.
I know, right? You and I were talking about this a lot when we were getting down to brass tacks and trying to figure out who we were going to give this to. And I think a lot of our decision came down to consistency, because in Mushoku Tensei, the animation is consistently incredible.
And it's just absolutely astonishing how Mushoku Tensei feels like movie quality animation every single episode. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Like even sort of like quote unquote throwaway scenes get so much attention and care. I mean, I rewatched the show recently while watching it with a friend who it was his first time, and like the first few episodes of just Rudy as a baby just walking and wobbling around are so full of character and personality. It's incredible, and that's just him as a kid, you know. And then you get some fight scenes later that again are just like mind blowing, absolutely mind blowing.
Yeah, and like we have things like Jujutsu Kaisen, which the fight animations look great, but yet in those quieter moments of the show, the animation doesn't really stand out as much. So I mean, it's not really as much of a complete package. With Demon Slayer, the animations and the fights are fucking great, but then sometimes you have questionable CG choices in certain scenes. I mean, still, it looks good for CG.
And Jujutsu Kaisen, just like on that point on CG, I think again the fights are absolutely incredible, but sometimes you can tell that like the composite didn't work. It's kind of struggles to keep up with the animation, like the CG backgrounds with the 2D fight animation. But again, not to discredit Jujutsu Kaisen, just Mushoku Tensei just is like, it feels like this big deal. It feels like every episode is just given this like absolutely incredible attention to detail. The fucking dance episode, the dance looks great, you know?
It does. It does.
Love it.
All right, Nitai, what do we got next?
So up next, we got the Fenny Award for Best Character Design, and the nominees are Mushoku Tensei, Jobless Reincarnation, Attack on Titan, the final season, Jujutsu Kaisen, Beastars second season, and Odd Taxi.
Before we move on, I completely forgot to mention this. Our fan vote winner for Best Animation was Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba Mugen Train Arc. I forgot about that. Sorry about that.
I can tell how Discord is gonna just riot when this goes.
I know,
live.
right?
That
was actually an overwhelming favorite in our fan vote, by the way.
For Demon Slayer.
Yeah.
Damn. So yeah, character designs. Mushoku Tensei, again, absolutely classic designs for the characters. I mean, I think there's not a single weak design in that cast, honestly. Mm-hmm. And shoutouts to Attack on Titan for like the evolution of the designs. We've seen these characters for 4 seasons now, and I love the evolution from that we get for all these characters, how they changed, how they look now versus how they used to look. I think
that's
it's
something I wanted to
fantastic.
mention, because like shout out to Mappa, because obviously they took over for Attack on Titan the final season, and Attack on Titan's final season has a significant time skip, right? And I have to give them credit, because I mean obviously they're following more or less the designs in the manga, but the characters actually do look like they have aged.
Yeah.
And there's an anime that also aired in 2021 that takes place across multiple time periods, that being Tokyo Avengers. And one criticism I had of that anime is that the characters' ages are so fucking ambiguous that you can never really tell when something is supposed to be taking place.
Dude,
they
that
never
main
look like
character,
they age or get younger.
Dude, that main character in Tokyo Avengers, like during the present, looks younger than he does when he looks like when he's back in middle school. It's jarring.
I know,
it's
right?
Really weird.
Yeah, that's one thing I definitely got to give credit to Attack on Titan, especially their character design for, is that the characters actually do look like they have aged, and they look like they're very weathered.
Yeah.
They look like they've been through some shit.
All of them just want to die. They're done with this.
So I definitely give them credit for that. They nailed that like perfectly. I mean, then you got like Beastars and Odd Taxi, right? So these are anime that have like human animal hybrid characters, and they all look great in their own way.
I mean, I love how they're sort of like animal type reflects their character as well to some extent. I think it's really fun and creative. Especially with Odd Taxi, I love how there's something about the look of that show that, again, it's sort of cartoony but sort of not really, and I like how that is reflected in the character designs.
Yeah, it is. And with Beastars, like they have there's so many animals that are represented, like the snake security guard guy.
Oh,
like,
I love that. I love that
was
so much.
not expecting that. The
Nope.
second a spider shows up, I'm done though.
So I'm a spider, so what?
No, fuck off. Fuck off. I mean, and then you have Jujutsu Kaisen, which like the curse designs and that fucking
Great.
nightmare inducing.
Yeah.
Like
I
something
love the
straight
curse
out of
designs.
Junji Ito.
Mm-hmm. The curse designs are absolutely incredible.
Yeah, they are. And, like they're the things that appear in my fucking nightmares.
The winner for best character design is I hate this so much. It's Jujutsu Kaisen. And yeah, also first time we agree with our audience on something apparently.
Yeah, this is the first and only time, so don't get used to it. Again, not to put the cart before the horse. That our fan vote is actually the one that we ended up choosing as our winner for this.
When we
award.
talked about this category, you were just gushing about the curse design in the show, and I was like, yeah, it's very strong. It's very weird. It's very out there. Like one of my favorite designs is that first curse they that sort of like, which episode was it? That you see in the OP sort of like facing Yuji. It's just really out there, real weird, but also very like very threatening. You know.
Unsettling. Very unsettling.
Yeah, very unsettling.
That's actually the word that I use to describe pretty much all of the curse designs. Maybe one or two that are they're very less so, but so many of them are just very unsettling to look at. And I mean, we've talked about this in the podcast before, and maybe it warrants a revisit at some point, like how anime horror really, especially like body horror or like gore type horror, really just doesn't land very well. But I think in this instance it really does. And even as someone myself who's not a huge fan of like gore or body horror, I'm more of a fan of psychological horror personally. This like the designs of this really hit home, and like just made me feel very unsettled sometimes watching the episodes that the curses were in.
Yeah, definitely.
And very creative designs, very creative.
Also,
designs.
I mentioned Hanabi, or was it Hanami? I forgot. Her design as well. Like, I love that design. It looks absolutely badass. You know, it's like
It does.
with the big flower and the horn eyes. Sort of, it just looks so cool.
And let us not forget Panda. He's a panda.
Panda is not a panda.
Panda is panda.
Also, our Lord and Savior Gojo. I mean, who can forget?
Of course, our Lord and Savior Gojo.
But anyway,
all right.
Next
Next award. Our next award is for Best Boy. The bestest of boys are represented here. And our nominees for Best Boy of 2021 are Reiner Braun from Attack on Titan, the final season. Rudy Greyrat from Mushoku Tensei, Jobless Reincarnation. Legoshi from Beastar's second season. Fushi from To Your Eternity. And Hiroshi Odokawa from Odd Taxi.
Okay. No, I'm not. I was about to spoil it. I'm not gonna spoil it. I'll restrain myself. I'll restrain myself.
Be very careful about what you're about to say here.
So yeah, Reiner Braun, what a depressed little fellow. I'm feel so bad for
I know
him.
this doesn't really have much to do with him as a character, but I do like how his quote unquote suicide attempt in the final season is very reminiscent of the suicide from Full Metal Jacket.
That was a very interesting point when you brought that up. But yeah, I mean, Rhino just needs it's so strange watching the final season and just looking at Rhino. It's like, this man just wanna sleep. Let him be. Just leave him alone. Poor boy.
He genuinely, and I do credit the voice actor for this as well. He definitely comes off as someone who's suffering from severe, and I mean severe, PTSD.
Which is a great development for his character. I absolutely love with the places he goes to in this season. It's rough, it's hard, but you feel for the guy, even with all the atrocities he committed. You feel for him. But
and
Rudy,
of course, we have Rudy. I mean, it's fucking Rudy, the little perverted child. My poor
the demon
child.
The demon child. I Rudy is a piece of shit sometimes, but I love him. I love him so much. It's also like it's so satisfying to see his journey in this first season. Obviously, hopefully there will be more seasons to come, but for now, the journey that we went with him on this first season is like so satisfying, so awesome to see this guy just seeing the second chance he has in life and just maturing. And obviously, his fuck ups don't go away. He still has them, but he sort of learns to grow sort of out of them as much as he can. And man, that journey it left a mark on me.
It did, yeah, and it always goes back to how he was, in the world he came from. Like he has to like force himself not to go back to that, and there's always these temptations for him to do it, and he has to say, no, I will not do this.
It's so many isekai for nowadays. Just they're like, oh yeah, it's a new world, done. They're like done with the previous incarnation they were in these characters, and it's just so it's so it's so impressive to
refreshing?
see refreshing to see this character still harboring all the mistakes and fuck-ups he had when back in the real world, and it's like the show doesn't let that go that easily. It's great.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and then you have Odokawa from Odd Taxi, who, despite how he comes off initially, is like this sort of uncaring or just very flat type of, especially the delivery of his lines, right? Very deadpan character. He becomes like this awesome fucking almost action hero by the end.
Yeah, I love. He's like this hard-boiled sort of detective by the end. It's so good, but I love his. I love his mannerisms. I love the. It goes back to the writing. The writing of the show is so sharp. It's like the moment they started talking about Bruce Springsteen, I was like, "Whoa, hold the fuck up."
Yeah, that conversation about Bruce Springsteen said so much about his character too. Also, just hearing Japanese people say Bruce Springsteen over and over again.
It's great. Go watch Odd Taxi.
Oh man, yeah. If you haven't, go watch Odd Taxi. It's freaking great. And then we got literally Best Wolf Legoshi coming back for Beastars season 2. I mean, how could we not be on this list?
Bigger and
my
better.
Poor shy boy.
Oh, my poor, huge, lanky-ass boy.
I will say and again, I attribute some of this to the voice actor who portrays him. But he comes off as like this sort of lanky, shy person, which he also looks like. So it favors his character design as well.
Oh, for sure. So,
but anyway, yeah. So we are gonna give the Finney Award for best boy to, and this is something we went back and forth on a lot.
It's like till the last minute. Till the
very last minute. But we've decided to give the Finney Award for Best Boy of 2021 to Hiroshi Odokawa from Odd Taxi.
Yeah, my walrus boy. I love him so much.
We went back. I mean, all of these are deserving nominees, but we went back and forth a lot between Rudy and Odokawa.
It was hard. That was a really hard category to pick the winner.
This was the one we debated on the longest.
Yeah.
And we actually did have a tie in our fan vote for this between Rudy and Legoshi from Beastars.
Yeah. Again, awesome characters as well.
Yes.
So,
all right, do the other half of this, Natai.
It's time. It's time for the Fanny Award for Best Girl. And the nominees are Aries Boreas Grey Rat from Shoko Tensei Jobless Reincarnation, Echidna from ReZero's second season part 2, Hayasa Nagatoro from Please Don't Bully Me Nagatoro, Kana Kamui from Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid season 2, and Shoko Komi from Komi Can Communicate. So, not to give away anything, but aside from that one thing that Aries does in Mushoku Tensei, which will be remembered for eternity, she's a really cool character. I really, really like her and her growth in the first season.
I've said this on our Discord server, and I'll say it again here, that if Aries were an actual person, she'd be an absolute cunt, and I would have nothing to do with her. As a character, I fucking love her.
Yeah, I love her so much. It's so cool to see her sort of grow and just be more open with Rudy. I love her dynamic with what was his name? Richard? I'll never be able to pronounce it right.
Richard.
That, sure. I love her dynamic with him. How she sort of like looks up to him and grows and wants to be as strong as him, and she's great. It's just really heartwarming to see her grow. I love her. I love her so much.
Oh yeah, for sure. And it is a fun journey to see happen.
Now you fucking pervert, you and your Nagatoro fetishes.
Listen. Nagatoro is literally the perfect waifu.
I'm done.
I love Nagatoro. I as should probably be no surprise to anyone who's been following the podcast for a while, I like bullies. I love being bullied.
Oh, so you're the Satania of this podcast. I see.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Please bully.
That wasn't a compliment.
I mean, I'm going to take it as a compliment whether you meant it as one or not.
Anyway, Kana was... I remember when the first season of Dragon Maid came out, Kana was a force of nature. She was everywhere. She was absolutely everywhere. And yeah...
Also, if you liked her, you were clearly a scummy lolicon.
I didn't like Kana. Just putting it out there. Kana. I don't like Kana.
Really?
No, I'm kidding. I'm. She's okay. She's fine.
Okay. Okay.
She's
no,
fine.
Listen here, you little shit.
I'm not a lolicon, Alex.
No, but Kana is great, and of course she was back for season 2. She wasn't really the focus of season 2, but every scene that she was in, she kind of stole. I mean, as befits Kana. And I thought that warranted inclusion here. And apparently a lot of you agreed. Because a lot of people asked her to be put in here from our Discord server. So
I'm going to need you to give me a second. I need to let this out real quick. God, Komi's so fucking cute.
Yes. Yes. Komi is fucking adorable. John does not like Komi can't communicate, by the way.
Fuck John.
Exactly.
Komi
I
gives
don't
me
know
life.
actually because we love John, but
seeing Komi just like produce noises makes me happy.
Yes.
I
And when
love
she
her
has
so
the cat
much.
ears.
Oh my god, dude. Oh shit. I'm gonna pass out.
Now, before we actually give out this award, I want you to tell all the boys and girls at home, what figure did you get last year?
I am not biased. I'm not biased at all. So story time. Story time. Last year, actually, you know what? It was even 2020. The first, by the way, that giveaway, the first half of season 2 of ReZero came out. And I watched it weekly with a good friend of mine, Ariel. And it was an incredible experience. And one of the things that made that experience so incredible is specifically our winner for Best Girl 2021, Echidna. She's an incredible character. She does what so few characters do, is just intrigue me about what the fuck they're thinking about. So rarely do you get to see a character show up, disrupt everything around her in the show, and just gets you thinking, what is she planning? Is she with us? Is she not? What is her agenda? What is it about? And that whole game of actually figuring her out and sort of like picking her brain apart is a highlight for me when it came to anime in general. She's one of my favorites. And just by accident, Good Smell released a figure of her drinking tea, and I definitely ordered that as soon as I saw that. So
that tea is made out of her piss.
I have no issue. I'm sure. I have no issue with that.
I see you have no issue with that. Okay.
Echidna is the best character of... No. She's the best. I love her so much.
But yeah, she is a great character, mostly because of the mysteries surrounding her. Like, you never know really what she's thinking. Is she actually on your side? Is she just telling you she's on your side? Who knows? That's one of the great things about a character like Echidna, and I think that's a big part of the reason why we did decide that she was our best girl for 2021. She's also voiced by fucking
Kiss Shot. She's also voiced by Shinobu.
She is voiced by Maya Sakamoto. Yes,
she's really good.
One of the goats in anime voice acting.
Please step on me, Maya Sakamoto.
Wow. And you talked to me about Nagatoro. Okay. And it's worth mentioning that, to no one's really great surprise, the fan vote was for Komi. Again, great choice, but no Echidna.
Echidna's the best.
Komi is fucking cute, though.
Yeah, Komi is... Wow, she's thick as fuck.
Our next award is for Best Directing. So our nominees in this category are Skate the Infinity, Attack on Titan the Final Season, Odd Taxi, Mushoku Tensei, Jobless Reincarnation, and ReZero Second Season Part 2.
Yeah, so this is tough. I mean, we haven't talked about it, but I do think it's very important to mention that I think it's quite the accomplishment what White Fox did with ReZero Second Season. Every episode is like 30 minutes long. I have no idea how they got away with this. Like, in terms of, like, you know, with TV airtime and whatever. I have no clue how they did it, but I think it's like it's a fucking feat that deserves like a fucking wild as fuck shout out, because damn, they did an incredible thing with the second season, and they deserve all the credit in the world.
The last anime out there that consistently had like half-hour long episodes and was airing them on TV was probably the Monogatari series. Like, because it has some long episodes too. Yeah. Like there's many episodes of the Monogatari series that are between 25 and 30 minutes long, which is way longer than most episodes of an anime.
But yeah, and, really, shout out to White
ReZero.
Fox. Yeah.
Yeah, and this was, I mean, in the first season, they also had episodes that were anywhere between 25 and 30 minutes long. Not every single episode, but a lot of them.
Season 2, I think all episodes except for one maybe were like almost half an hour. And it's like
all episodes except the first episode of the second season were over 25 minutes long.
Yeah, it's like, good job. I mean, really, I'm so happy with how the second season turned out.
Yeah, and they utilized all of the time that was available to them. Like, there were no points in that they were just filling up like time. Yep. Clearly, because they needed this extra time. And it's utilized effectively. There never seems to be any moment that's like specifically weak because of its direction.
I mean, hey, I mean, like we even got like one of the best OPs of the year with Longshot, but we only got it for like 2 episodes,
Yeah, for
which is like
sure.
saying
I mean, that's
something.
probably a big reason. A big reason why it wasn't included in our OP list is because how infrequently you see it.
But yeah, also Attack on Titan final season. I think we did lose something from in the move between Wit to Mappa, but I think we also got a lot out of it, and I really enjoyed the direction that the fourth season took. I think it's really, really there's something about it, and maybe it's even more grounded to some extent. But I don't know, something about that this new season that was like I really, really enjoyed.
Someone on our Discord server, and I forget who, so I'm sorry I can't actually credit you for saying this, mentioned about the switch from Wit Studio to Mappa for Attack on Titan's final season, that for everything that was lost, at least something else was gained in that studio move.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually a really good way to describe Attack on
And
Titan's
hey,
final season.
let's at least it didn't turn out like One Punch Man.
Yeah, that's wow. Yeah. Wow. Phew, that was bad.
So Mushoku Tensei, back to our previous point about consistency. Mushoku Tensei had absolutely awesome directing from the get-go and
did.
consistently for the rest of the show. I mean, we talked about it before off the air, but like the first episode is such a good primer for that, because you have this episode of Rudy just hanging around the house. It almost entirely takes place indoors, and you have him just, developing his magic skills, learning about magic, and then that magic is the thing that sort of shatters the walls to a very literal extent. When he uses that magic to break the walls of the house, and then he sees the outside world, and it's such a powerful moment. It's also really clever foreshadowing to his conflict later in those first few episodes about heading outside and being outside. So yeah, the visual storytelling,
a lot of symbolism, a lot of the directing and
a lot of awesome visual storytelling.
Yeah, so much.
And I'm here for that. I'm here for that.
Yeah, and then you have something like Odd Taxi, right? A fucking mystery story. And like it's so easy to fuck up directing a mystery story, because you can give away too much, you can give away too little and confuse everybody. I mean, it's such a delicate balancing act with the directing, especially with like visually directing it, not giving too much away. And of course, looking back on it now, of course I'm not going to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it, because I highly recommend you go watch Odd Taxi. But there are subtle hints that are given throughout the run of the series about what's actually going on, and you have to pay attention to these or you will miss them.
That show is very clever, for sure.
For sure. But anyway, the Finney Award for 2021's Best Directing goes to Odd Taxi.
Yeah. Best rated show of the year by a country mile, by the way.
Yeah, so I would agree with that. There's some other really good ones too, but yeah, like I said, it's so hard to write a great mystery story, and Odd Taxi does it so well, and it does it in 13 episodes. Like just 13 episodes, it gives you so much.
It's so tight,
and
it's with its
it doesn't really leave you
well.
wanting more by the end.
Yeah, for sure, but it ends on a very satisfying note. I loved it. It's so tight. I love the conversations. I love there's so much, just as you said, so many moments, and like small moments that sort of like tips you off to what is going on, and it's very satisfying to piece together what is actually going on.
It is
very clever.
And our fan vote for best directing went to Mushoku Tensei,
which was pretty much the runner-up. Let's be honest.
That was pretty much our runner-up as well. Yeah. But we have 2 awards left, so Natai, do you want to take our penultimate award?
Let's do this. So, the Fanny Award for Best Voice Acting. Let's do it. The nominees are Yoshimasa Hosoya as Reiner Brown from Attack on Titan final season, Maya Sakamoto as Echidna from ReZero second season, part 2, Yuki Ono as Rui from Beastars season 2, Natsuki Hanae as Hiroshi Odokawa from On Taxi, and Aoi Koga as Shoko Komi from Komi Can't Communicate.
Yeah.
So shoutouts to Komi, to Aoi Koga, because she does a lot with very little, and I love that.
Yes.
I love the sounds. I love the small sounds. It's so cute. And then every now and then she'll say something. I'm like, my heart is melting.
Yes, you're absolutely right. She says a lot by saying very little, and I think as a voice actor, that's actually a very impressive feat.
For sure.
You can communicate so much with just like little like sound effects that you can make with your voice. I mean, there's a talent in that.
Oh, for sure.
Great talent in that. I mean, then you have someone like Natsuki Hane doing Odokawa from Odd Taxi. A character who is very, very deadpan, but he delivers it so well.
And then when he goes beyond the deadpan and you get like more emotional or intense scenes, he goes all out. He gives it his all. I love his performance. He's great. And
yeah,
like,
for sure.
Again, the dialogue really helps. It's a really, really funny dialogue. It's like almost Tarantino level. He delivers it like an ace. It's wow.
Yeah, he does. And like, just if you can deliver deadpan in a way that's actually compelling, that is also an incredibly talented feat.
It might be.
We have Yuki Ono as go ahead.
No, I was just about to say, like, it might be one of my favorite deadpan-esque performances ever, almost up there with Sergio Kahara from our Monogatari.
Yeah. We have Yuki Ono as Louis as well, back for season 2 of Beastars, and
he's a beast.
He is a beast, and he plays like this preppy, like holier than thou-esque character really, really well.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's very, very threatening.
We have Maya Sakamoto as a kid. Like, Maya Sakamoto is one of the I've mentioned it before, one of the goats of anime voice acting today. Like this woman has played both the adult version of Shinobu and the loli version of Shinobu, and makes it sound like two completely different people.
And her performance as Echidna is absolutely enchanting. She has you in the palm of her hand, and she's just like toying with you. She's great. She gives that character so much personality.
I feel like Maya Sakamoto could literally voice anyone, and it would be believable. That's how talented she is as a voice actor, and as Echidna specifically. Like, she gives that air of mystery to her character in her vocal performance, and like wow.
She's fantastic.
Wow. It's definitely one of the scene-stealing characters from ReZero's second season overall. Even more so, I would say, in part 2 than in part 1.
Again, there's a reason why she's the best girl of 2021. She's that good.
And then we have our boy, Reiner, our sad, depressed little boy.
Our sad, depressed, suicidal boy. They say suicide is painless, but...
Hosoya does I will say, throughout the entire run of Attack on Titan, really, Hosoya has done a really good job portraying Reiner. I think mostly in this season, though, he's sort of come into his own as like a central character. Whereas before he was sort of I won't say a side character, but certainly a secondary character. And giving him more of a spotlight in the final season has really kind of shown me, and I think a lot of people, that this is, not just the character, but the voice actor behind the character is really, really good at portraying this character.
It's really impressive how desperate he sounds. You know, there's certain scenes where you see just the despair in his eyes as well. It comes with his voice, and it's so engaging. You know, it just grabs your attention.
There's that scene early on in the final season where he's sitting down and having dinner with his family, right? And like it's more of a quiet scene, but even in the scenes where they're like exchanging pleasantries and stuff, like you can hear like this gruffled desperation in his voice, like underneath everything that he's saying. And it's like it's portrayed really, really well.
Yeah. So, who's the winner of this category, Alex?
Well, it's the person we've just been talking about. It is Yoshimasa Hosoya as Reiner Braun from Attack on Titan, the final season. It's funny enough.
Absolutely incredible performance. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even as someone myself who is obviously not a fan of Attack on Titan, I do have to give props to good voice acting when I see it. And they're definitely, I think making Reiner more of a central character in Attack on Titan is definitely helped raise his status as a character in my eyes. And just as put to the forefront just how well he's been voice acted all along, and even more so in this final season.
Yep. And yeah, the fan vote was the winner of the fan vote was Komi from Komi Can Communicate, and I understand you people.
Cash that check, Koga. Cash that check.
So it's time for the big boy.
It is time for the big boy. Our final award that we will be giving out tonight is, of course, the Fenny Award for Anime of the Year 2021. This is a big one, and I want to say every single anime that's been nominated here tonight were fucking phenomenal anime that aired all throughout the year. And they all deserve credit in one way or another. Funny thing is, you're going to see a couple things here that haven't been nominated for anything else tonight. And I want to talk about that right after I give you the nominees. So our nominees for Anime of the Year 2021 are Jujutsu Kaisen, Yuru Camp Season 2, Fruits Basket The Final, Mushoku Tensei Jobless Reincarnation, Odd Taxi, and ReZero Season 2 Part 2. You will notice that there are actually 6 nominees for this award instead of 5, which every other award we had 5 nominees. That's because as much as we debated about this, we could not narrow this down to just 5 nominees.
It was really hard to narrow it down to 6 nominees, to be honest.
It was it was hard enough to narrow it down to 6. But,
for example, you don't see Attack on Titan final season, which for one of the reasons it didn't make the cut because it felt incomplete without this now airing the second part. But not to discredit the first part, which was to me one of my favorite viewing experiences of the year, just watching week to week with my friends. It felt like an event. So incredible show, but yeah, the jury is still out on that one because this second part is now airing.
Yeah. And also, you'll see on our nominees list for Anime of the Year, we have both Yuru Camp Season 2 and Fruits Basket The Final, 2 anime that have been nominated for exactly 0 other awards tonight. And I wanted to talk about that. So the first 4 awards that are nominees that I listed for this award are things that I think, and you and I have talked about this, are, if not the new gold standard, a new gold standard in some way, shape, or form for what they are. Jujutsu Kaisen, for example, I feel is one of the new gold standards for shonen anime out there. It looks great, it sounds great, the story is pretty tightly written. It doesn't spend an enormous amount of time on over dramatized fights. The fights are good and they're well choreographed, but they don't go on and on and on and on forever. You have Yuru Camp Season 2, which in my mind is not only a gold standard, but the new gold standard for the slice of life genre, specifically the Iyashike subgenre of slice of life. It is literally just audio-visual comf. Watching Yuru Camp will literally heal your heart of any ailment it may have. We have Fruits Basket The Final, which for the last 2 years, a little over 2 years now, we have been treated to a complete and utter remake of Fruits Basket from the ground up, and it is a complete adaptation of its source material, unlike the first anime adaptation of Fruits Basket that we got many, many years ago.
Which again, it's always awesome to get a full adaptation of a very beloved manga. Even
all these years later, it's still great to finally get that closure, get this full adaptation that I think that Fruits Basket has always deserved. And not only did they do a great job, they fucking hit it out of the park, especially with the final season. And I think, we've talked for many, many years about the gold standard of anime remakes being Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, which I think it still is, but a new gold standard that I think stands toe-to-toe with it is probably Fruits Basket's remake, specifically its final season, which I think it nails the landing just absolutely perfectly. Then you have Mushoku Tensei, which I've made it no great secret on this podcast that I am not a fan of the isekai genre. I feel like a lot of it is tropey, it's played out, and it's bored, and it's 100% oversaturated. In fact, I read an article about the anime that came out in 2021. 1 out of every 5 anime that came out last year was an isekai anime.
That's insane.
If that's not oversaturation, I do not know what is.
But then you get this show, which like people for a long time call it like the granddaddy of the isekai, like the progenitor of the isekai genre to it, like some extreme extent. But it feels the freshest. It feels the most innovative and one of the most refreshing isekai shows I've seen, which is insane.
It's literally, and John has talked about this because John has read the source material, that it's literally an anime about character development. And that's one of the things that I think that isekai as a whole lacks largely, is that, and you kind of touched on it before, kind of memeing a little bit, but you're absolutely right when you say that most isekai are like, okay, we got reincarnated or transported to this world. We're going to forget everything about our character from how we were in the old world, and we're going to be a completely different person. Whereas with this, Rudy, the main character of Mushoku Tensei, has to really struggle not to go back to his old ways.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a shame that not enough isekai learn from that. I mean, ReZero definitely has its own take on that, and that's why it's here one of the nominees, because it is a satisfying journey. But yeah, it's strange that's like the exception to the rule, you know?
Yeah, and that's why I think that Mushoku Tensei really should be considered the not a, but the new gold standard in isekai anime. I haven't seen a better isekai anime in years, and I don't think I will for quite a while.
Hopefully, the next seasons they will produce for this will stick the landing.
I can only hope, especially since an entire studio was created just to make this anime adaptation.
Yep.
And then you mentioned ReZero, again, a good isekai in its own right, but for very different reasons, I think. And then we also have Odd Taxi on here. I think an anime that kind of came out of nowhere. It is an anime original. It is the only anime original on this Anime of the Year nominees list.
And
I don't think a lot of... It's fucking great, and I don't think a lot of people had high expectations going into it. I think it was definitely a sleeper hit when it first came out, but boy, did it get to the top of the charts really, really quick once people found out about it.
Yep, it's amazing. It's amazing. I mean, it's one of the most complete packages you got. It's, you know, the characters, the writing, the ending, the everything about it, just so satisfying to go through and experience, and it's just, man, what a banger of a show, you know? And that's what I love about checking out original anime. Every now and then you just stumble on this like little original show and you'll be like, wow, this is something new I haven't seen in a while, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And with that, I think it's time to give out the award, Nitzai.
Let's do it.
So, without any further ado, the Fenny Award for Anime of the Year goes to Mushoku Tensei Jobless Reincarnation.
Good job, everybody. We did it.
Boy.
We gave it to an isekai.
We did it. We gave Anime of the Year to an isekai.
So you said,
do it, you bastards.
You mentioned, you touched upon it, how it's like a gold standard for isekai. I think Mushoku Tensei, beyond being a fantastic isekai, it's a fantastic anime. It's just so, every now and then you'll watch a show that will completely like blow your mind and just engulf you in it. You know, you feel so immersed in that show. You think about it all the time. You think about that world, that whenever you watch an episode, you just feel transported to that world. And Mushoku Tensei gave me that feeling, that really just magical feeling that every now and then an anime will give me. And I think it feels so good to watch a show that gives you that feeling, you know? It's the kind of show that reminds me, fuck, anime is so cool, and I love it. This first season is absolutely incredible.
It is, and hopefully it's not the last. But yeah, and all of these are well deserving anime. Surprisingly, and I mean, thank you all in our Discord server, because you obviously have good taste. Our fan vote for Anime of the Year was actually Yuru Camp Season 2.
This is our audience.
This is our audience. They have great taste, especially in slice of life anime. But no, Unicamp is just it's pure comf. I demanded that it get nominated for anime of the year.
You made your case, and I obliged. I'm like, okay, you got me. I'm fine with that. But Mushoku Tensei,
all very Mushoku Tensei. Just it's great. Can't wait to see more. And that's pretty much it. Those are our awards for this year. This year, 2021.
It was a very good year.
It was a very good year for anime overall, I would say.
We still, and we missed a lot of shows, but damn, there were a lot of good shows this year, for sure.
And it's worth mentioning that a lot of these we got to see in 2021 were specifically because they got delayed to 2021, not because they were originally supposed to air in 2021.
True. Very true.
But yeah, I think before we sign off, we do want to mention some stuff that we have in the works for next year's award show, because there are a couple of new categories, and we may actually have more. So you'll have to stay tuned for that. But we definitely want to add a couple of new categories to our awards next year. Number one being for best writing. I think that's a definite oversight that we've noticed we had for the last couple of years, is that we don't have a specific writing category.
Yes.
And we tend to lump good writing in with our directing category. So next year we will have a separate writing category for anime. And also, this is one that John has suggested, and I think is one we might end up doing too, is a best sleeper hit for things like Odd Taxi that just kind of come out of nowhere and just take over everything for a season or more.
Who knows? Maybe Ranking of Kings will get that title next year. Who knows?
Who knows? It certainly is on a lot of people's minds right now. And we also are going to institute like a very specific criteria list for things to get nominated in our awards going forward. So previously we've kind of been playing it by ear, and it's like, more and more people are asking like, well, what is an anime? Because these are supposed to be anime awards. So next year we will actually have a quantified list of what is and isn't actually eligible for all of our awards. And we're still more or less airing out what we want, but there will actually be a specific nominee qualifier set next year. Also, we actually involved our audience in this for the first time this year in our Discord server.
Thank you to everyone who participated.
Yes, absolutely. To everyone who participated, thank you for your votes. Thank you for your suggestions for things we should add to our short list. Thank you for voting in our fan vote that we have on our Discord server. As I mentioned before, it's linked below. Join there. We have a bunch of cool people that talk about everything from currently airing anime to fucking flag designs. We have the weirdest conversations in there sometimes. But yeah, that's gonna be it for our Fenny Awards show. Congratulations to all of the winners. Thanks to everyone for all of the fan votes. And we will see you back here again next year for more anime greatness.
Yeah.
And hopefully 2022 is going to be as good, if not even better, than 2021. It's certainly shaping up to be that way, especially with all of the announced anime that we have coming later this year.
It's a good time to watch anime. Yeah.
It is a great time to get into anime, or even start watching anime again if you've been away for a while. But I'm going to end it right there. Thank you all for dropping in to listen to us. Check the description below, as I said before, to find links to Anime Club After Dark on we got Twitch, we got social media, we're on Discord. We have affiliate links as well. We have a merch store where you can purchase a bunch of stuff that we have out there for you to buy. If you missed it, we do have some Year of the Tiger merch with a special version of our logo that was designed by Burb in our Discord server. Thank you for that.
Thank you,
as
Burb.
Well. He designed some great stuff that ends up on t-shirts and stuff in our merch store. And he's made a bunch of different special editions of our logo as well. But with that, I have been your host, Alex, and I will see you next time. Say goodnight, Natai.
Good night, everybody.
Whew, time to get out of this tux.
Oh my god.
Come on.